It was exactly what we expected procedurally. It was an arraignment where he entered an official plea of not guilty. We had a chance to confer with the prosecutors, which we had in the past as well, briefly, just to talk about discovery issues, when they're going to get it to us. There's a lot of evidence, as you can imagine, and that was confirmed again today, and so they're going to do their best and be as diligent as they can to get us the discovery.
Do you know why the difference between the counts, why he's facing 29 counts and other one was only facing 10?
We have our theories, and we're going to be exploring the evidence and assessing that.
In terms of the legal, I guess, kind of difficulties the prosecutor may have here, do you anticipate filing a motion to dismiss? Do you think that they legally, by the law, that they have a good case here?
Well, this is a case of first impression. We have not seen any evidence that would lead us to believe that Mr. Gonzales is guilty of these allegations. What I mean by a case of first impression is that no Texas peace officer has been charged under this statute before, based off the situation that we're dealing with. So it's uncharted territory. We're going to avail Mr. Gonzales to all of his legal rights, and so all of that will be determined at the right time.
Why did Gonzales choose to show up today as opposed to waiting for an arraignment like that?
Well, when somebody is accused in a court of law, the citizen accused has a right to stand before the court and make a determination or make a plea of not guilty, and that's what we wanted to do. We also wanted to have an opportunity to speak with the prosecutors in person and get the logistics of working with this courthouse, this clerk, and this courtroom.
Tell us about your client. What is he doing now, and how will these charges affect him?
Well, he feels he's innocent. He feels all he did was show up to try to help those children. I mean, look, there is justifiable righteous anger in this situation. I mean, our position is, should that anger be directed to Mr. Gonzales? Our humble opinion is that it should not. We have not seen any evidence that would show us that it should. There was over 370 officers there. We have not seen or even heard of a theory of why Mr. Gonzales is being singled out. We'll get into that more when we see the discovery, but that's going to be a long process.
Can I ask you,
Ma'am?
Is he working now?
He's working, yes ma'am.
I want to ask you something specifically about the indictment. The prosecutors say that he failed to impede the shooter. I mean, it's almost suggesting that he could have somehow stopped the shooter. What is your response to that?
We have not seen any evidence that would support that, and I don't know how you distinguish him from the 370 plus officers that were out there as well.
Do you plan to file a motion to change the name of San Antonio?
All his legal options are on the table. We're just going to get into the case a little bit further.
Can you tell you how he's feeling
Well,
going into court today?
just real quick on that, just so it's clear that the judge decides where the venues. We don't make a decision or ask the judge where to transfer it to. The judge may get our input on it, but the judge will decide if there was a venue transfer. That would be the judge, not us.
Did Gonzales talk to you today about his feelings coming into court?
We've spoken to him a number of times before today.
And how did he feel going into court?
I mean, he feels he's innocent, and he doesn't understand why this attention is directed to him. I mean, he feels horrible that those children's lives were lost, but he doesn't feel he's responsible for it. Obviously, that there's a monster involved in this situation, and he is no longer within man's justice. I believe he's in eternal justice now. But Mr. Gonzales feels he was just there to help these children.
I got here on the
Sure.
Why show up today? He waits his right to show up every day. Why show up today?
Yeah, we answered that question previously. Yes, ma'am. Well, that a man has been accused by the state, and that he is going to stand before the court and say that he's not guilty.
Can I answer a question for those of us who are not from here?
Yes, ma'am.
For those of us who are not from here, the process, what's the next step? Is there a hearing? I think you said there was either a contention hearing or something.
Well, there'll be a number of pretrial hearings to kind of see where we're at. The judge is going to want to gauge where we're at with the state and exchanging information, or them giving us the discovery and us filing motions that we may need once we look at the evidence. So this is going to be a long process. We've been notified that there's an enormous amount of evidence, and so that's going to take some time to get through.
And then will there be a hearing or something after that?
If need be, there will be several hearings.
Dates discussed. Was the next hearing date determined, or what?
September 16th is the next date. It's a pretrial setting just to make sure it's more of a status conference to see where we're at, how much evidence have we received, are there any questions. The judge has encouraged us to negotiate and to confer with the state if there's any questions on discovery before we file a motion to the court.
This is a state jail felony. Usually these cases don't drag on. This is different, though. You can talk about that and explain like the range of punishment that goes with the state jail felony.
Well, the state jail felony, as you may know, is 6 months to 2 years in a state jail facility, day for day. But the amount of charges filed against Mr. Gonzales and the enormity of the evidence is going to take some time.
Can you talk a little bit about the process? Jason heard you in the courtroom talk a little bit about the digital aspect of it, the electronic electronic issues that you guys are having? How does that play into that? Where are we with that, and how could that play out?
Well, that issue specifically was just the idea that we were trying to file motions, and the district clerk had kicked it back because it was a different judge, because obviously Judge Harrell has been assigned to this case, so the normal judge that would, I guess you would file the motions to. So that was kind of a technical issue. We've talked to the district clerk. She's going to help us out with that, and she's given me her card, and we don't feel like we'll have any problems. I think that the big issue as far as digital discovery is that it's voluminous. I mean, you know, there's probably more than 1 million documents, and there were several investigations that have been done by several different agencies and all of those things, and we understand that it'll take at least a month from this day just to get all of those things uploaded so that we can see it.
Were you guys surprised that your client was charged and charges were brought at all in this case?
From a legal standpoint, yes. I mean, nothing surprises me. I've been doing this long enough. Nothing surprises me, but again, this is a case of first impression, so I think that speaks for itself.
And
You don't represent Arraignment, but have you guys had any communication with his attorney? Is there any insight into whether you guys will try the cases together? Because that's the way they're playing out right now.
Mr. Arredondo's attorney is going to do what he needs to do for Mr. Arredondo. We're concerned with Mr. Gonzales. We're not tying ourselves to him. We're not trying to throw him under the bus or not, but we're separate than him.
when you said you were surprised that they brought these charges, why do you think? Is there any reason why you would want to say that the DA?
At this stage, I'll reserve that comment.
Do you have reason to believe any additional officers will be charged with this case?
We have no indication that they will, and that's not our charging decision.
Have any approached you about representation?
Ma'am?
Have any approached you about representation, any other officers?
No, ma'am, but there would be there could be a potential conflict of interest, so our focus is on Mr. Gonzales. Is that all?
One was the
Yes,
judge's
sir.
decision, but you all have more dire here. Do you feel like you can get this
Well, yeah.
that's in a small family?
Well, I think, you know, the question that you're asking is obviously any good attorney is going to make those considerations. Right now, we have to figure out first exactly how the discovery and the evidence that the prosecution is trying to bring matches with the indictment. And so all we're saying is we're not saying, yes, we do think we can get a fair trial here, or no, we can't. We're saying we have to wait and figure that out. And then really with the judge, though, the judge makes that decision, and then the judge will determine if he makes the decision that the venue will be transferred. But
As it stands now, would you like this out of this county?
right now, we don't have any opinion about it. We have to see what the evidence is.
Can you just tell us spell your name for us? I think we can.
No, we don't reach out to any potential client. There was a lawyer that was involved on some other matters relating to this previously. He reached out to us and said that Mr. Gonzales wanted to speak with us, and so we met with him.
And our firm does represent a lot of police officers who have been charged, and I think we've had some cases in Bexar County and some others where officers have been charged, and we've represented and tried those cases. So, you know, as far as when a police officer is charged with any crime, we're one of the people that they're going to look to. We're one of the firms.
As far as we know, as far as we know, the district attorney obviously was not here. Are you guys expecting for her to be involved in this case, or are we seeing special prosecutor take over at this point?
Well, the special prosecutor is serving at the pleasure of the district attorney.
Right.
So, I mean, that's there's not anything. He is not independent. He is underneath the district attorney.
I'm surprised that she wasn't here.
I used to be the district attorney in Bexar County.
You were in the courtroom walking
I was in the courtroom. I made myself a show in the courtroom. So
In terms of this whole idea of this being a case of first impression, legally, what would the prosecutor have to show in order to stand this case up, in order to pass it through an appeals process and so forth? In terms of legally, there just seems to be some hurdles and some challenges, and I'm wondering if you guys can talk about that a little bit.
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, basically, the indictment speaks for itself as far as they have charged this in the indictment, and they will have to show or prove those elements of the indictment. And, you know, I mean, it's just like any other case, except the reason it's a first impression, I mean, obviously this charge has been charged all over Texas since the statute was created, but it's never been charged in this particular circumstance.
Against a police officer.
That's right. And in, you know, where somebody is obviously guilty, there is an obviously horrible monster responsible for the deaths of these children. and it's not Adrian Gonzales, and he's not that person. And that's what we're here, and that's why he's here, is to say that there was that person, and that person's no longer here. And so for us, like, our job is to make sure that we get the evidence that they are and see if it matches their indictment. They've had this for 2 years, and they've had the ability to see how their evidence is or not. We haven't had that opportunity. That's what we're waiting to do. Jason Goss, Goss.
Nico LaHood, NICO LA, capital H, no space, OOD. Is that it?
Good.